For those of you who don't know me, I am Melissa Friedman, and I am co-founder, co-artistic director of Epic Theater Ensemble. We are in our 24th season. And I'm an actor, director, playwright, teaching artist, producer, mom, lots of things, and the daughter of a classroom teacher. And I'm really excited, and an improviser. So we're gonna look at today some of the principles of improv that go beyond yes and, right? That we can extend into at least the beginning parts of devising, which is collaboratively creating, right? And this is...
I'm Anthony Vaughn Merchant of the Duluth Vaughn Merchants. I am an actor, director, improviser, professional storyteller. I'm very, very lucky that I've been able to do that with my life for the past 10 plus years. I work with Epic. We're in our 24th season.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see if I can double check. I work with BAM. I work obviously with the DOE, and and I really get down on I really get down on improv. Like I've been doing improv. I've been doing improv. Really, improv was my gateway into theater. So I've been doing improv since I was in high school. So I love it, and I love it, and I think that it's a wonderful thing. Just to echo what Melissa said, that we are. I think a lot of times you may find, just nod if you agree, that it's like, I'm gonna do an improv unit, and then we leave the improv unit and we forget everything that we did in improv. He's there, nope, the nods. So, yep, thank you for the visual affirmation. That every other teacher in your school, well, every other teacher in your school that's worth their salt is scaffolding their lessons, right? So that they're this thing builds on that thing, builds on that thing. And I firmly believe deeply in my heart of all hearts, and I fought with my entire graduate school program about this, but that improv is acting and is not separate. And it is the fundamentals of what makes acting work are absolutely the fundamentals of what makes improv work. The acceptance of a thing, the agreeing to something, that a disagreement, this is why I'm sorry, I'm getting deep into it. That a no isn't, if you really are doing the thing, no doesn't mean no. No means that I've accepted the thing that you're saying and that my character has a different point of view if we're doing it right and we're making the whole thing work. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. All right, everyone come and stand in a circle. In a large circle. This is a very popular workshop. Yes. Let it be noted. Okay. All right. Sorry, I'll stop my time to address this. I'm sorry. All right. We're just going to do...
space over there so that you can...
We're scooching. Yeah, we're scooching. We're going to do a little warm-up of... it's one of my new... It's newly one of my favorite warm-ups, and it's wah. And the way wah works is I send wah like this, wah, across the circle. The person I send it to receives it like this, throws their hand up. So let's practice throwing. Ready? Wah! Let's practice receiving. Wah! After the receipt occurs, the people on either side wah towards that person's center. So let's practice. You send to me. Wah! Wah! And then you send wah to my center.
Wah!
Like a chop to the belly, kind of wah, right? You're not gonna actually hit me though. To be clear. Okay, so let's try one more time. Wah! Wah!
Wah!
Good, great. Now I can then send it to somebody else, or I can hold on to the wah for a minute. And the way I do that is wah! 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 And then you just go wah back to me. No,
back to you.
Yeah,
Wah, wah.
right. No, just one wah. All right. So and it doesn't keep tripling. So let's do it again. Wah! Wah!
Wah!
Wah! Wah!
Wah!
Wah! Wah!
Wah!
You have to
Wah!
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 Yeah. Wah! Wah!
Wah!
Wah!
Wah! Wah!
In order to keep it, you have to say it twice.
Oh, twice?
Wah.
Okay.
Now, you
It's
can
not
do
like
it-
changing
You
your
can do it you can do it with whatever style you want. You can go wah wah. You can go wah wah. You can go whatever you want to do, or you don't have to wah-wah if you don't want to. Okay? Wah-wah, okay? Then you can send it off to somebody else, all right? So it's about really being deliberate in who you send it to, like many theater warm-up games, right? A lot of them have that to them. Really being deliberate, receiving it, then the people on either side also being awake and ready to participate and chop. And then they're not done unless you release the wah. Release the wah. All right. Okay, awesome. Alex, will you be the first person to wah?
Sure.
Right.
Wah.
You have to send it too.
Okay. Wah.
There you go.
Wah.
Wah! Then the people on either side have to wah, right?
Wah!
Right? Right? And then we can go wah, wah, wah. And then we have to go. Just do it. You know, why not? Why not? So let's try this. Let's see if it works. Let's try. Don't try to make twins. If it were to happen, it happens. You'll see, Peter.
I will be a victim, I'm sure. Go. I'm excited.
Okay, great. Who wants to start the wah?
I do.
Yes.
Wah!
Wait, you have to send it.
No! There's a half reason I wanted to start it. Wah!
Wah!
See, now you gotta take it up.
Right
Wah!
Wah!
You gotta take it up. So we're going to play a party planning exercise. When you're planning a party, what are some of the things that you have to consider? Food.
Alcohol.
All right. So yeah.
Excellent point. That brings us kind of
Drinks.
to the
Yeah.
first thing that you might have to decide.
What kind of party is it?
Like it's a
1-year-old
thing.
party? Maybe not.
So everybody, so you would think about your food, alcohol/beverage. What else?
Music. The guest.
Music, guest list,
Decorations.
activities, all of that. So now everybody is gonna kind of. I want you all to face a partner. Face a partner. Not me. Here. Everyone. And Yeah. So you're going to decide a kind of party very quickly, a kind of party that you're planning together. Go ahead. And how are you? Someone's going to say an idea, an offer, as you call it in improv. Say like, I think we should have balloons. The other person is going to say yes to that, but they're going to continue with it with a but. You're going to kind of give it a little bit of a caveat, right? So if it was, we should have balloons.
Yes, but perhaps not the tinfoil ones.
Right, right, and you're like, yes, and then, right, and then he would add something.
And we should have dry ice in the punch bowl.
Yes, but the dry punch, the dry ice and the punch should be in only some of them. And, right, so you're going to just try yes, but. Does it make sense? Yes, yes, but. Yes, but. Yes, but. All right, go. Turn to the person next to you, to the right of you, and you're going to make a new partner, right? So you're going to go here to go, see, like, so you're going to... Okay, all right, say hi. Now, I'm going to take the brakes out, and you're just going to guess and, right? So it's going to be a super acceptance, absolutely no buts. I don't want to see any buts, okay? No buts. So if someone says something and you're thinking, ooh, that's going to be expensive, or ooh, I'm not sure if that's right, you just don't say it, okay? You're yes it, anding. You're saying, yes, brilliant is the subtext, brilliant, yes, and we should do this, and you're going to connect it to the thing before. So a secret but is... If let's demonstrate a secret but. Let's demonstrate a secret but. So you take it.
So yes, we should totally have this Halloween party should be like J-Lo themed.
Yes, and it should be like Harry Styles themed.
Yes.
That's a secret but, right? So what I did there was I pretended like I was having fun. Really, I was saying, let's do something else. Okay? So you want the secret of whether or not you're really yes-anding is if your partner feels good. If your partner, no.
That's the sound of butt.
So if your partner goes like this, then you didn't yes it, all right? So try decide the party and then start yes-anding. observe that the volume went much higher. I'm just saying on that round. So was that fun to do? It seemed fun, like by looking at. Well, can someone or give me an example of some of the highlights that we might expect if we were to
Tell us about your party.
Yeah. What was your party like? Gonna be like?
We had cabana boys and a nice luge.
What sort of party was it? Like what was it?
Summer birthday.
Yeah.
Because both of our birthdays are in the summer.
Summer birthdays, yes.
Awesome.
We
Yeah.
had a Lion King theme party where kids were essentially making their own masks in Lion King costumes.
Okay.
Yeah.
No cabana boy illusions.
Listen, I know my social calendar is free. I can go to both. Awesome. Other highlights? Yeah.
We had a Disney-themed Christmas party where when the princesses walked in, we beheaded them.
That seems like a really good segue to the next one. Wonderful. So you're not gonna find the third set of partners by switching to the person next. You know what I mean? You're gonna do that. You're gonna continue down the line. So you're gonna turn to your right, find the new partner. Does that make sense? Get a new partner easily. We're going to instead, before you get to the and, you're going to give a because. All right? So you're going to say yes. And you're going to justify your partner's choice. And then you're going to add something on. And that person's going to say yes. And then they're going to justify for it. What's a birthday party we can do?
It should be a J-Lo themed Halloween party.
Yes, because we're in the Bronx. Yes, and that's the perfect theme. And we should be playing exclusively J-Lo music.
Yes, because everyone knows that Jenny from Block, all right? And she got all her stuff on lock, okay? Yes. And we should have exclusive vodka themed Cabana Boys. I got Cabana Boys on the mind.
Yes, because that's just on brand for J-Lo.
Right?
So you're really, you are saying the idea, but your partner's in charge of justifying it before they move on. So you're going to decide what your party theme, a new theme, so you can start again, right? New theme, and start the yes because and. That's right. I'm working on workshopping the name, all right? Yes because and. All right, and go. All about building that collaborative spirit of how to build on each other's ideas and to really accept each other's ideas, build on it. So what was this like to add the because? How was it different than the yes and for you? I'm really asking, this is like a relatively new component to this exercise for us of adding the because. So I'm super, super curious what your experience was like. Yeah.
I think it gives ownership, not like you have an idea and then you always have the because in your mind, but then when you give ownership to someone else, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's a
Great.
nice way of connecting and saying to the person, I understand.
Mhm.
I understand and acknowledge your idea.
Listening and hearing. Listening and hearing. You have to, right? You have to listen and hear. You can't just be waiting. My idea.
Right.
Right? Yeah. You have your hand up there?
It was also challenging too because but it really enforced the agreement. It really, maybe it wasn't as like bubbly and loud as the last time, and it forced me to think. But it also, like I said, it reinforced the connection between the two people in the improv.
Yeah.
It really felt like we were building something very solid. I don't know.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, it went from like your idea, my idea to our idea. It was really, it was that, and it felt more playful too. Like we were really getting way more excited about it. It's like,
I want to go to this party.
I want to go to this party. It's gonna be an awesome wedding.
I kind of always expect it to be less energy, but from our perspective, it felt about the same volume. I didn't have my scientific tool to assess the volume level, but to collect that data, but it felt about the same level of enthusiasm in the room. You think, oh, it's going to be like putting the pedal on like the yes, but it seemed like it was a little, in many cases, like kind of had that same kind of exuberance of building together. Yeah, you're agreeing?
Yeah, you were talking about how improv is like how you make your partner feel, and I just felt so much joy getting that like back and like feeding off of it, and then having very playful.
Yeah.
I'll also say I felt like it took the pressure of coming up with another new yes and is always like, oh, new idea.
Yeah.
And it took the urgency out of that a little bit. It's like your first response is, oh, that's an idea. Let me just agree to that thing without feeling I have to add something new right away.
Yeah.
It greased the wheels.
What I just would like to suggest that the yes part needs some space.
Yeah.
Yes and isn't just.
So I know. Yes, and just to that. But if I were to put words to this as we were workshopping this, if I were to put words to it, I think about enthusiastic consent, and I think about so it's an active yes rather than a passive yes, because yes and can feel like and also that's where you get into like things getting wild. When you just say yes to the thing and then add a thing on top of it, you're like, well, hold on, let's deal with the weird thing that you just said, all right? And why that might need to be a thing, and like addressing that, and that's where you really start to flesh out like a relationship, right? Yes.
Yeah, and so let's put it to the test.
Cool, great. So can I get 6 people up here and then everyone else over there? 6 volunteers, please. 6 brave souls. 1, 2, 3. Are you 4? Are you 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you 5? Do I hear 5? 1 more and 6. All right, fantastic. So this is called the ad game. You will notice behind you I put the list on the board or on this sheet of paper so that you can reference it, but also I don't want you to have to look at yourself in the mirror all the time. So this is why I made the active choice to put you this
Go
way,
ahead,
right?
put it all the way on there so they can see it more readily.
That makes more sense. That makes more sense. Good call. Cool. So, this is the ad game. The 6 of you you work in an ad agency. You are the best of the best, but it is crunch time. It is 11:57, and you've got to get this ad in by midnight. All right? You've been burning the midnight oil, which is early because it's not quite midnight yet. But you're like, you need to get this thing in, and you've got it. It's time. So there's no room for no's. Everything is going to be an enthusiastic yes for this new product. First, we're going to get a product for you. I will get that for you, but we're improvising, so you don't know what it is yet, right? Then, so you're going to have to come up with a name for this product, right? Again, over acceptance. The energy should be like, again,
it's midnight, 17 shots of espresso, cigarette butts everywhere, empty Chinese food containers just littered about, and like, this is it, right? This is what we're doing, and everything has to be a yes, right? A name for your product. What are you gonna package your product in? Like, what is it gonna look like? Because, unboxing is a huge thing, okay? It's very important, okay? What's the demographic? Who are we selling this to? Who are we trying to get in this? Because of that demographic comes the next three things. A slogan, right? What's the thing that everyone's gonna say that we're like, oh yeah, that's the thing, that's the by many. What's the jingle, which is also by many. And like you can come up with a whole song for it, and that doesn't have to be a whole song, but like a little bit of a ditty for us, all right? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it, right? Give us a little something, right? Except you can't have that one, it's taken. And then, last but not least, who's your celebrity spokesperson? Who's this person who's going to we're gonna get involved on the ground floor to push this product that you have just named and we have just given you, right? Who's it gonna be? And then we are going to see a commercial from all of you. You're like, right, we've got all the things, wonderful, okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, action. You're gonna decide who's going to be, who's gonna pitch the product name, what's the packaging, how you're gonna show it off. We're gonna see the whole final commercial that will incorporate all of your 6 things. Does it make sense?
Yes.
We're just brainstorming it.
You're brainstorming it first for the creation of the end will be your final commercial that we will see. So we're gonna watch you come up with this and then see the final product all in front of us. I've gone very quickly, partially because that's how my brain works, and partially because you're theater people and I trust that you're like, yeah, got it. Okay? Normally I would take a little bit more time. Cool, great. All right, fantastic. Can I get, from the audience, can I get a suggestion just of a household item first? Can opener. A can opener? I heard can opener. Fantastic. However, this can opener does something on top of opening cans that is incredibly helpful around maintenance. What is it?
It's also a hammer.
It's a can opener hammer. Fantastic, excellent. Can opener hammer. I will say no more. Can opener hammer. Let's see how we break it down. Can I get a 3? I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1. Everyone's gonna say curtain, and y'all are gonna do the thing. Ready? All right. 3, 2, 1. Curtain.
Okay, so we have the camera. That sounds too much like camera.
Ooh,
No, I said no. That was good.
yes.
The camera. That's the name. Okay, the camera. Nope, it's the camera.
Got it.
Can we put it in a camera case?
Yes.
Good branding.
Now, who needs to fix things?
Everybody needs one of these things.
Yes.
Everybody.
But
You're right.
especially toddler moms.
Yes,
toddler moms.
Does the toddler get its own little mini one?
2 versions.
The Daniel Jr. if you will.
Yes.
So let's think about slogan. How do we get these toddler
If you
moms?
can open it, you can hammer it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, well, I think. Oh yeah, jingle.
Jingle, like bang bang.
Oh,
Bang, bang. Bang, bang. Nailed it.
bang, bang. Great.
The camera.
And then the slogan.
Oh, yeah. Bang, bang. Bang, bang. You can open it. You can hammer it. Great. Okay. All right.
I think it has to be The Rock, right?
Yeah.
Toddler moms love The Rock.
Yeah, the toddlers do too.
He's basically a toddler.
Yes.
Toddlers love it.
Whether you love WWE or Moana, it's for you. Okay?
All right, let's do the commercial.
Okay.
Let's do the commercial.
That's right.
All right.
Right.
Oh no, my can!
Oh no, I can't hammer this nail.
Hi, I'm Moana and WWE's The Rock. And I'm here to tell you that even if you don't have big muscles like me, you can do stuff like open cans and hammer at the same time.
Is there a version for me and my mom?
It looks so small in my gigantic hands. You can go with a child. Yes, you may.
I can hammer and open cans.
Bang, bang.
That's fine. But yeah, but how did it feel like? Did you feel supported? Yeah. All right. Like, did we think that was a rather functional commercial?
Yeah.
And was it lovely to like watch the whole thing come together?
Yes.
And then wasn't there this like moment of like, how are they gonna put that into a commercial? And yet we saw it. It was fantastic. The moment of you stepping forward, of like, I'm going to be the Rock, was beautiful. The moment of this strong moment where you're like, I'm gonna be the kid, because you're like, I'm remembering this thing that we said that was going to happen. It's like great, fantastic. The way you incorporated everything. But most importantly, the biggest reason why I do this thing is like it's the biggest. It's the yes and. Everything's got to be yes. You just have to say there's no room for no, right? And weird things will happen. That's fine. We get a weird thing. We go to them and we say yes, and we go to the next thing, right? And we somehow manage to make everything make sense, even if it's in reverse, right? Like we wouldn't have gotten the Rock unless we had done the previous work. You know what I'm saying? Unless we were like, oh, well, if you can hammer it, then you could. If you can open it, you can hammer it. It was like, great, this is making sense. The jingle was like, bang, bang. You're like, yeah. Now I'm like, it was either going to be Fred Flintstone or there was no other way that it could go. It was inevitable, right? So it was fantastic. Great. Wonderful.
I would just also say that because you just did the because work, we didn't ask you to add because, but you did, right? Sometimes when those two exercises are separated, we will actually have students oftentimes say, yes, because the Rock makes sense because he's so strong, and, right, so like actually articulating the because is a really excellent way to sort of stop us from going to crazy town, random answers to questions, right? Because it can be very intoxicating to know that everyone is going to say yes enthusiastically to you. So just to make sure, like there is a kind of logic around this term that we use all the time, which is there's yes and, but then there's also if then. If that's true, then what else is true, right? So if that makes sense, yeah. Awesome. All right, guys, give them a round of applause. That is something we often do in our summer training program with high school students, and we literally have students, former students, who did the ad game 12 years ago now, who still can remember the jingle. I was like, you still remember the jingle from that? Okay, wow. So we're going to shift into how do you apply some of these things to devising collaboratively. So we're going to do the same thing as the ad game. We're going to brainstorm in front of everyone, okay? So Anthony and I are going to use the play Antigone very loosely, just because we're in rehearsal, we're leaving here to go into tech.
Yes.
Anthony's still learning lines.
Yes, that speech is very hard.
It is hard.
You've done it for a while. I too.
So I'm, it's a multilingual production of Antigone that we're workshopping this fall, and then we're doing fully in the spring in the Bronx. So we've been, and Epic's been living with this play Antigone for our entire history. We keep coming back to it. So we're just going to use that as kind of imagining adapting it, because we just want to agree on one thing we're making together rather than try to come up with something in this workshop. So we're imagining we're doing an adaptation of Antigone. You don't need to know anything about Antigone to do this next exercise. Let's imagine if you don't know anything about Antigone, you're a student who maybe just transferred in. Okay, and so we're going to do the same thing. Thank you, Erin. We're going to do the same thing we did with the ad game. Maybe with not quite the same necessary number of espresso shots. Or cigarettes.
It's unnecessary at this point because of the play. Yes.
Yeah, because of the nature of the play. And actually, I'm going to put this up here first, and then I'll put it over there. So we're going to figure out together, we're going to suggest an idea. I'm going to ask for an idea for an unfair rule or law. Okay? Something that you think is unfair, a rule or a law that is unfair. It could be a rule in school, it could be a law in this country, etc. And we're going to have the group, this is less of a comedy than improv, okay? All right? But we're going to see how some of these things apply. The group on stage, the 6-person group, is going to brainstorm the location where they think it takes place and be as specific as you can. right? It takes place in a park, in a national park in Washington State, right? Whatever and you're like, yes, because, right? So if you're like talking about a rule around school safety and why am I blanking on the name of the standard?
Standards.
Right,
I was
I just
about to say, like,
standard.
takes
metal
place at the
Metal
standard.
detector, thank you. So if it's a law around metal detector, you're gonna have a hard time if you say it's in the national park in Washington State. Although maybe not. Big yes, because, and then you'd find your way there, right? I don't know how, but you might. Then you're gonna talk about, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in this order. You're gonna talk about the punishment if that law is broken, right? Some kind of motto or slogan for that law. The leader who's enforcing it, a rebel who wants to break it. So is it a student? Is it a park ranger? I don't know. I guess I'm just thinking about
Park rangers, yeah.
which ones I haven't been to, which ones I have. I love national parks. The reluctant ally. So for those of you who are familiar, those students who have been in class know that we're referring to the kind of archetype of Creon and the archetype of Antigone who wants to break the law, and the archetype of Ismene who wants to help and is scared. Okay? So if it's a school rule, is it the principal, the president of the student body, and you have to, before you move on to the next thing, you've got to say yes, because, and justify it. And it can't be you if you're suggesting it. So if you're like, I think the location should be in the school building by the lockers because, if you just say it, you have a reason for saying it, but someone else needs to justify it. Okay? So it can, like, you kind of figuring it out together. When you're finished with figuring out these, you're going to have a scene between the rebel and the reluctant. I would like to try for all 6 players to find their way into the scene, either through walk-bys, walk-ons. Words are failing me today.
Words are feeling you? Not failing? This is great, no problem. All right, cool. I gotta remember my lines. So through a walk-on, or you can tag me.
So if I tag in, if I'm playing the scene, and Anthony wants to play my part now, then he would continue playing the scene, right?
And start playing the part just where she left off.
But during that 2-minute scene, all 6 people need to find their way on. It could be like announcement from the person. It could, it could be a sound cue. It could be something that finds its way into the scene. And the idea is just like in the ad game, for you to find a way to incorporate these things so that you're showing, not telling, right? So if it's in the principal's office, part of the walk-on could be the school secretary, the principal secretary comes in to establish.
I have the PTA on the phone with you.
Right. And in the scene, you'd be like, you have to punch me with this, right? So you're finding ways to incorporate that into the scene. Right? Make sense? It doesn't have to be panicked. You can breathe. It doesn't have to be like that, like it was with the ad game in a fun way, right? It can just, you're brainstorming. You're saying yes. It's one brainstorm, right? The idea is we will see more than one, and we'll be able to look at different kinds of ideas around ideas rather than just people. I think it should be, and they start to have their idea in their corner of the market of the brainstorm. If that makes sense.
I'm gonna add one thing right now. Like the ad game culminates with a commercial. You will know your scene is done when Antigone leaves. Antigone has made a decision and leaves, or your lead rebel, whoever that is. She's like, I'm gonna do me, whatever that is. Okay.
Awesome, I love that.
Cool.
6 people
Six more volunteers. Oh, now it's new. We can't do it. 6 more volunteers. Come on, thank you. That's the last time. 1, 2. Thank you. Come on. That's right. 3. Yes. Give me four. Oh, this is not gonna. I will start dragging people. I'm not above it. I will treat this just like a class. Don't think I won't do it. Don't think I won't do it. All right, that's fine.
Okay, wait. Before you do, do it.
There we go. All right, everyone. You're ready. We got everything. You know what we're gonna do. We're all set up. It's over there. Wonderful, fantastic. I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1. We're all gonna say curtain. Oh, never mind. We're not. Oh, right. We need to give the unfair. We don't have to discover it. I'm sorry. My bad.
Tag. All right. So let's think about like what is as a gift to them, as opposed to what is going to be really hard for them to handle. Give them a gift of something that you think is an unfair rule. Could be an unfair rule. Maybe isn't now, but you're afraid will be. Unfair law. Something that you think someone would want to break in some way. It can be made up, but it should be a gift to them. On the count of 3, people are going to all yell out one thing at the same time, and I'm going to hear one of them. Has everyone got one in their head and they're like, I'm worried about saying it? Yeah, make one up. Think of it. You've got 5 seconds to think of it. Everyone's going to yell it out at the same time. It's going to happen. I'm magic that way. All right? Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Say that again? Okay, no dogs allowed in the apartment building. Amazing. All right, so it's a no dog apartment building. All right, and you've got to figure out these things. It's high stakes, okay? All right? Ready?
Can there be more than one rebel, or is it only a tag out? Okay.
Yes. Up to you.
You guys, it should be joyful. It should be something that you get excited about as the 6 people on this team. You're figuring it out. Use this as a guide, but you're really trying to get your way to a scene. That's what you're trying to do. That in a way that uses because. Yes? Because. That's the exercise. Ready?
3, 2, 1, curtain!
It's a building that's in Tribeca, it just got bought by somebody else, and so he's just made up this new law.
Yes, and it's where senior people live.
Yes,
Yes, because it's where seniors live.
And some seniors have allergies.
Yes. Oh.
There's a new person who just moved into the building that does not believe in this rule.
Yes, because perhaps this animal is a support animal for them.
And a beloved member of the family. They pretty like it's a family member.
But the new owner of the building is not lenient at all and does not want to bend the rule even though it's a service dog.
If someone brings a dog into the building, then the dog is taken and put in a kennel in the basement. Yeah, the dog is taken away.
Yes, because whoever is not a dog person made that rule.
Yeah.
Don't break the law. Something about a paw.
Is memorable, and it's neatly postered like by every elevator at each level in the building.
Don't break the law.
Don't break. I better not see a paw.
Better not see a
Yes, because
That's it right.
And the I in I better not see a paw refers to the head of the new owner of the apartment building, who's the leader of the building.
Because he's the only one enforcing this law.
From the top down.
With the eye, it also represents like like there's a picture of an eye there, and it represents the security cameras that they've installed to catch
because
the
Big
dog's
Brother.
name.
And the reluctant ally is the mailman, who the person who owns the dog wants the mailman to smuggle in the dog for him.
Yes, because the mailman has a really good rapport with everyone in the building and is like a trusted confidant of all different employees and residents, and so has a lot of sway in the runnings of things.
And he doesn't want to get bit. My name is Madam Walker. This is CJ. okay for CJ and I to move across. You know, we've been supporting each other very long. And, you know, I can't live without him.
Hey, I'm your local letter carrier. I'm just letting you know heads up. I'm not supposed to have dogs in the building. The superintendent gets really strict and crazy about it, so. Residents, I heard some barking in the hallway. I just want to remind everyone there is no dogs allowed in this building. No, you better get out of here. I'm telling you, they're gonna get him.
Oh no. Hello, Madam Walker. Hello, Mr. Mailman. Why are you all down here? Are you here for the co-op meeting?
Yes, the co-op meeting. It's a new post office initiative. I'm supposed to attend the co-op meeting.
All the new people are supposed to go to the co-op meeting. But I just heard about it, so I don't.
Maintenance, please make sure the posters stating the slogan are posted by every elevator and stairwell.
Thank goodness that we have our posters up. I don't know what I would do if people didn't remember nothing.
No pause.
Does anybody smell that?
I just like to sing sometimes.
It's against the law. I better not see a paw.
Yes!
See it everywhere.
Say it loud and proud.
First of all, really lovely naming of the dog. I was just thinking about how you sit there forever trying to come up with the names of characters, right, when you're devising, and it was just like, the fact that you came out as Madam Walker with your dog CJ, I was like, oh, well, then that's great. It's just lovely, and there was the internal logic was built into the scene, you know? What was it like to do? Hard, yeah.
I couldn't remember the slogan. I was like, it's my job to say it now. I'm that person. I felt like we had to support each other in that moment.
Yeah.
I just was going to be really out in the dark.
Yeah. So here's the thing about devising and collaborating. It's always hard. It's always hard to figure out how to come up with ideas collectively. Well, I say it's always hard. Sometimes it is a breeze. Sometimes it just happens. Like there are times, that's true. But it's often really hard. And so it's just trying to figure out a way to activate the difficulty and the challenge rather than only relying on let's talk about it, right? Let's discuss, let's brainstorm in a circle, right? And so that after many years of doing it that way, I just started to think like there maybe is a different way to activate that discovery and to not have students defend their ideas as if it's exclusively theirs. My idea is this character. You know, the fact that you jumped in as the dog in that scene, suddenly you have ownership on that idea, right? And sometimes your participation is through the improv of it, and not always in the talking, right? Sometimes people are more like sort of talk focused, and sometimes people are more like the improv. Yeah. Anything else that you observed from watching this? Did it look hard?
No.
Okay, you said no.
I in the sense that yes, there was trepidation because it's the first time we're all improvising together, but like y'all just kept going. You know, there was no moment where it was like, oh, they dropped the ball. Like the ball stayed in there the whole time.
There was a great moment with the co-op, and you had to figure out why the mailman would be going to the
But you did such a beautiful like,
yes, of course I, as the mailman, will be going to the club. So I thought that just like you all did such a good job of yes-anding each other, and then calling back to everything that you had thought of. I forgot about the senior citizen, so when you brought that in, I was like, really? And then you brought in the allergies, and you sneezed, and I was like, yes, these are allergies. And then the poster, you were the eye, and I was like, I could just imagine that your face was a camera.
That was really awesome.
Yeah, really good.
So I also think
you know, a lot of times when you're thinking about improv, and I know students say this all the time, I can't think of what to say, right? And I think about the future. And actually, I think the key to improv, especially this kind of improv, is the rear view mirror of like thinking about what already happened. That it's actually about remembering rather than it's about planning ahead, right? So you're like, your dog's like, what was this? So then the next time you do this exercise, you'll be like, I have to really make sure I put that in my pocket because last time I was like, I forgot stuff, you know, so I'm gonna work harder to remember. Yes? Yeah, any other thoughts about this? Yeah.
Just wanna, like we started with an idea that could have gone in a silly direction, and I just love how much emotional truth you found with it. Like when you were like, the dog's gonna get locked in the kennel, I was like, oh my god, the dog, and then the senior, like you created something very complex and like that you could empathize with each person in this, you know, this apartment building with no dogs. It seems trivial, but like it was very human and very real, and it was really nice.
I had no idea what you were gonna say, but it just was coming from a really like real place. You're like, no dogs in the building, you know, just like that is unfair, you know, and it's like because the person who's fighting against it is an Antigone. They're going like, I want to break that rule. That is not fair. So the idea that you took on that energy is really lovely. I would like to, first of all, applaud Vaughn. You are going to pick somebody to replace you. Go, find somebody.
Does anyone want to go?
Great.
Oh, you're stealing my seat too. Why don't you?
I still need someone.
By the way, that's one of my favorite tools. I use all the time.
I don't want to.
Because then I don't have to do we're still negotiating.
All right, we got so much.
Oh, wait.
No, did you already go? No, you did already go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're up, buddy.
We got
AP Citizens House.
Great. So, what I'm going to ask you guys to do, because you all have thoughts about unfair rules right in your head, you're going to just close the circle and I'm going to give you 60 seconds to come to consensus on the unfair law you want to focus on. Close the circle, it's a private moment. They're going to talk. They're going to figure it out. They've got 60 seconds to figure it out. Yes. But I stopped.
The rules as far as yes and no. Keep working. It's a practice thing. It's a straight up practice thing. Where it's like, okay.
I don't have something to do.
10 minutes.
Okay. All right, ready? Got it? Yeah. All right, what is your unfair law?
Taking off your shoes at the airport.
Hey.
Just the shoes. Just the shoes.
Just take it off, just
Unnecessary.
I couldn't agree more. Okay, so random. All right. Okay, great. So whenever you're ready, 3, 2, 1.
We're doing the same thing.
You're going to do the same thing. Same thing.
Yes.
So have you guys been to LaGuardia? Because they just updated everything.
Yes, because that was the worst airport ever, and they had to fix it.
And so even though they're a really fantastic airport now, they were voted like the #1 airport in America, they still make us take off our shoes there.
That's what I mean. Like you think with all this modern technology and everything that they would update the rules too. It just doesn't make sense to me.
So what's the punishment if we don't take off our shoes?
Well, you know how TSA is.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild. I heard that you go to TSA jail for a month.
No.
A month? What?
What is TSA jail?
What? Yeah.
Like who would tell you? Who enforced this? Whose idea was this?
Yeah, well.
Who's behind it?
Well, I have some ideas. I think it was the mayor's idea.
Of course it was the mayor's idea. It's always the corrupt one.
It's clear. But yes, you know where you go to TSA jail, you are put in a room with stuffed animals from your childhood that were awful and haunted you.
And they just have everyone's ready to go. Yes, because when we're at TSA made to take off our shoes, we feel like those our young childhood selves that were tortured all the time. So we go to permanent childhood torture.
If you don't take off your shoes, you have to hang out with
Your stuffed animals.
From
Your childhood. Yeah. So I will be the first one.
Yes.
To go up to those TSA agents and be like,
Yes.
I am not taking off my shoes.
What? There's gotta be a wait. Why? Why is it so important? Oh, you have really smelly feet, right?
Oh, disgusting.
So we cannot let you take off your shoes.
And it's kind of torture anyway, if you think about it. Like, why are you torturing the rest of the public with your steps?
Yes. So we're standing up for smelly feet folks.
But
I think you should.
Yeah, and guess what? And because I always carry odor eaters in my bag, I'm gonna be there for you.
Thank you. No, Mr. TSA agent, I will not take off my shoes. I can go through that metal detector.
Ma'am, I told you that this is the procedures, these are the policies. If you would like to fly with us today, I am warning you that you must take off your shoes or else you're going to suffer the consequences.
Well, here's what I'm not comprehending, right? I have to step in there, correct? And you're gonna do those swirly whirly
Yes,
things?
you will do the spins, correct.
So spins happen. What's gonna happen if I take off my shoes? Nothing different.
Ma'am, we need to inspect your feet for fungi and sometimes influence the air quality of the cabin within the flight.
I can help.
It's still not good enough. Thank you for your assistance. You know, if you don't take your shoes off, I'm gonna have to call for backup.
Hey, call for backup. I'm not taking my shoes off.
Well, you realize what the punishment is before I do call for backup. I'm giving you one more warning as per our lovely mayor's new incentive.
Are you sure you really want to help these stinky feet? Because one time when I went through TSA security with stinky feet myself, I refused to take off my shoes and they took me somewhere. They took me.
I've heard about it.
To a room.
Where?
So I don't know if you should finish fixing her feet odor because it might not be worth it. We all might go back to.
Well, it's not quite here in town, but it is the haunted room of doom. Listen, if you don't make a decision now, I am going to call for backup.
Call for backup.
Charlie Bravo, this is Agent Teddy Bear requesting some assistance for a reluctant stinky foot person.
Oh, we got a
We're
411
going to
now?
have to call Mom and assemble all of her stuffed animals.
Okay, I'll get
especially
stuffed
the
animals.
really haunted ones.
Yeah, we already have the truck coming in with all the animals.
Over. Thank you so much. Can I go ahead and arrest her now, or?
There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 of us though. So maybe we take them.
Bravo, Charlie, you're gonna have to get a couple more trucks.
By the way,
Comments. That was awesome.
So, first of all, how was that to do?
That was interesting. It was pretty fun. It was a lot less serious to have to like deal with something as silly as like taking your shoes off at the airport.
Yeah.
But it was still really cool to kind of make it up as you go.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. You know, if you're adapting Antigone, it might get into some bigger sort of like issues around, you know, reproductive justice. It might be around, you know, gender and sexuality. It might deal with some pretty deep things if you're adapting Antigone. It's really fun to play with some other less deep things at first, but find the depth within it, find the passion behind your Antigone, right? Yeah. In terms of like, I think the question is like for us watching them, how were they like collaborating and listening to each other? How was the rear view mirror? Were they able to incorporate the ideas from the brainstorm into the scene? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? How was it to try to remember? Hard.
Pretty hard.
Yeah. And I think that's good. I personally think it's good for it to be hard because listening to your peers is hard, right? And it takes a lot. to not just listen to the voice in your own head going, what's my idea, what's my idea, what's my idea, and actually go, oh, I have to hear you because I need to incorporate this. So Bryn, what was your question that you asked me before?
Was when you do this with students, do you have them do the brainstorm publicly as a performance? And why is that?
I like to have it publicly performed for a couple of reasons. One, there might be a student who would otherwise check out, who suddenly is now on stage and is a valued member of the team. That's one. Two, in the case of maybe it ends up, we see this, we see that one, we see that, we end up choosing to go with a different law altogether, but we're like, we still have to have a senior citizen named Madam Walker with a dog named CJ in our play. We really just got attached to that character, or we really want to make sure, right? So there are pieces from the other performances that were like, oh, that's interesting. I loved that piece of it. And no one can really trace it back to that was that one person's idea necessarily, because it was all justified by other people, if that makes sense. So rather than, what happens when you go into your corners is it's like, this team is versus this team is versus that, and we have to pick which one we like, right? And think about like, okay, what did we love about that? What do we want to keep from that? What did you want to keep? So if I were to say, as we move forward in a piece, maybe it's not even about this particular law. Was there a character, a line, or a moment that you'd want to keep from this improv moving forward in our play? Because I have one where there's somebody who's on walkie-talkie with someone directly behind them. I just think that's really good. It's like, all right, I'm gonna need you to come here right away.
You guys want 4014 over?
I just am like, whatever play we do, there's got to be a kind of like, if you know Much Ado About Nothing, like a Dogberry Burgess kind of situation. Right? You got to have that. We got to have that. I want to have, this character with CJ. I want to have so we start listing things we want to build like a compositional list in the play. So as opposed to like, this is this team versus this team versus this team. Everybody feels they were in the foundational blocks of the piece that you make, even though ultimately we chose the one that was about the dogs in the building, and you're not, it was, you didn't spend 3 class periods focused on it and fighting it out and going like, we lost, it's not even our play,
I was just gonna say also, like, in a teaching setting, you kept holding us accountable for like the so you were able to jump in and be like, what was that slogan? And I was like, oh yeah, I gotta remember it. Like, so like, by the teacher and the audience seeing it, like if you're having a talk back with the students can be like, oh, they forgot the slogan. Can they do it again? Or, can we add in a little
Where would we put it? I wouldn't be like, I mean, that's
do the whole thing again, but
I would be like, they forgot it. Be like, hey, we didn't get that, so where could we put it?
Yeah.
Just be like,
and
like.
it holds the audience accountable too.
Absolutely.
Paying attention.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Could I just add in, because I know that you were so hesitant to get up, that I really, really, first of all, saw you and enjoyed that, like, you just walked in, you're like, I don't know how to enter into this, and you just walked up and you took off your shoes. Filling out this reality in such an important way that would not have happened if it wasn't you. You know what I mean? If it wasn't you, then we wouldn't have had. But it was like, oh, now there's a line. Now there's this is real. This is real.
And now I'm like, oh, if we were to go back, I would say, like, we're just scripted. I'd go, oh, can your character be like, see, they know how to follow the rules. And those are the kind of things that you're so focused on the list and the this, and
then it's awful for you because you don't want to be seen. You're like, I just want it.
I love to have like a chart paper that's like, ingredients for our play, and then we just keep track of the delicious little morsels from the things that were made, and it's so hard to see when they're not public, right? And I'm taken with the idea of even watching the brainstorm happen publicly. And this would have to happen over many days, probably, unless you have like 15-person class or something like that, in which case it should happen over one day. It can happen over a couple of days as you build the skills for this. So they need to know the acceptance over acceptance, the justification stuff. So playing ad game for a little while with them, making sure everyone gets a chance to play that, really get strong with them about accept, they're the most brilliant person in the world, saying yes. How does that feel when you have an idea and someone goes, yes, in genuine excitement over their idea? That is brilliant, yes. Rather than go like, okay, right? How does that feel? So spending some time with that. All right, we're gonna just circle and just formalize the reflection. So that can include some questions. Just so we transition into that, but let's give them a round of applause. The chosen six, they were chosen by the former six. So cool. Really appreciate this. So let's start with any questions that you have that are still lingering. Yes, Brand.
Have you ever had someone do a scribe, like as
Yes,
they brainstorm?
yes.
And
That's great.
is there any reason to not do that? Like, is there a value in the trying to remember?
There is a value in trying to remember the active listening. It depends on where you are in the process. If you're like, we need to build this play today, then scribe. But if it's like, you know what? Like, let's just get some ideas. Let's just play. It's even before we start to actually look at Antigone. We're just kind of playing around with some ideas. Like, take the pressure off of it. Don't scribe it. Just talk about the ingredients you love from it. What do you remember from it? What do you like? And write those things down. Take the pressure off. It really depends on where you're at and what the goal, your sort of like, what I need to get done today is. They need the building blocks of their play. Their collaboratively made piece. Does that make sense?
Yes. I meant like during the brainstorm and
No.
before the scene.
No, that's what I mean.
Okay.
That's what I mean. So like, it just depends on whether or not it's important to remember everything that they're brainstorming, or if it's like just like a fun activity to get sort of the ball rolling. But you can certainly make some students in charge of keeping track. Also, if they're scribing publicly, then it takes a little bit off of the rearview mirror of like trying to remember, because there's a public record up there and they could be sort of reading it off. And I think it's a lovely thing to try to remember. But you know your class, you know what's going to give them, if it gives them joy and energy to scribe and makes it better, then scribe. If it makes it kind of like reading it off like a list, then don't. You know, so I guess it's like, I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah.
I wonder if, I know from my students who it might get a little, they lose focus in the audience. Instead of writing, but maybe let's say they're in charge of helping if someone forgets the motto, or like, or if someone says, I'm the leader, and you can't remember the name, like they should help support, or like just know that they've got your back, rather than be like, yeah, you never remember. I don't know, just to keep them more active.
Oh yes, and yes, and to that you'd be like, we're going to applaud when we hear a thing.
Yeah, so we hear that you
like, yeah, we nailed it, right?
Yeah.
So then we're acting, so it's active.
Yeah. And the idea is that, ad game is pretty much a home run in our experience. It's very fun to do with students if you scaffold it to get there, right? You don't want to do that like tomorrow without any prep, right? Because they'll be like, that didn't work. But like, the ad game is so fun, so if you kind of give it the same structure as the ad game, they're gonna have that kind of familiar response, to like, oh yeah, they're incorporating the thing in the scene, I think. Yeah.
I was going to say a question and a comment. I think being a middle school teacher, and I think I have the middle school brain now. Sometimes you lose track of it, and I found myself trying to track it. It was nice to have a tracker.
Yes.
I like to assign a lot of roles, so if you wanted to kind of make the roles more theatrical, you could have the director. The stage manager is the one that's, commenting on everything. Timekeeper can be the backstage technician that's keeping time, so I think that it can also be modified.
Also, the AD could be the one who decides when the thing ends.
Right, exactly.
You also can have someone with like a check mark, like they have a different color marker
That's
and
a good
they check
idea.
it off when they hear the thing.
Or the scribe is the stage manager. There's a lot of different ways that my question to you is, do you think there should be a time limit, or does it depend on your kids? I was curious about that, because I get 40 minutes with the kids, I have 30 of them, so it's like, do I structure time differently and just take my time?
You have to
or-
know your students.
Okay.
Is it fun for it to be like, you've got 2 minutes on the clock, come
Yeah.
up with the thing? Or is it that part of the development process where you're like, I actually want, now let's try it, let's slow down the pace. We're gonna watch this develop over 10 minutes. We're gonna watch people really thoughtfully brainstorm an idea, and we're all gonna be taking notes and giving thoughts and comments. It really sort of depends on your class. But I think you've got 2 minutes to come up with the brainstorm before we say it's 3, 2, 1. I often will do that with the ad game to give a little bit more pressure. You guys had so much great energy in the ad game that it was like no need to do that, but sometimes students won't necessarily come to it with that same energy. So normally we have a facilitated moment for this, but we'd love to hear anything about the workshop itself today. Any thoughts about how this might connect to your practice, to your teaching, to your classroom, and anything in terms of the reflection around that. So we'd love to hear that. Yeah.
I love yes because, and that's going to be, I'm going to use that forever from now on, because I think it's so
Because?
Because it gives you the space to really take the time to agree with the idea before you feel the pressure to add something on top of it, right? It's like, I'm going to really take my time to agree with this thing, and while I'm doing that, I'm figuring out what my addition is going to be, rather than feeling like I got to come up with it right away.
Great, awesome. Why don't you call on the next person?
Let's see. You can go.
Yes. No. This was great. I think I would really like to hone in on this ad game idea. I think there's, especially I also teach middle school. I think there's already an innate buy-in, I think, to that. I can see my kids already getting excited about something like that. And I think improv, part of it, like we said, for some of us was the gateway for theater for a lot of us. So it's I think these kinds of games would be the gateway for them, I think.
All right, one last one. You can pick out of yours. Okay.
Adding on to kind of what you're describing, I really appreciate the yes and the yes because it requires students, I'm also a middle school teacher, to learn how to elaborate in just classroom discussion in general. I find that a lot of the times in small or even large group discussions, the students will say the same thing that somebody else has said. So I'm like, okay, you can say that now, add a new because or add a new and. So just developing those type of classroom discussion skills, I think, is also cultivated.
So I think we're out of time. I don't want to get in trouble with Peter. So on to the next thing. You know what that is because you have a schedule. Thank you so much.